guys, welcome back everyone, welcome back to another season here of the RSL, the Rival StarCraft League Season 3 2025 America's Server Qualifier, the first qualifier of the season. I'm of course VIP. With me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. Phew, it has been quite some time, but we've returned with the final season of the year. For those who are maybe unaware, we have been casting, we have covered the previous RSLs. The previous RSLs, Season 1, Season 2 have been covered, of course. You can, of course, check out the VODs over on YouTube. And now we have returned with the third and final season of 2025. Three seasons are confirmed for the RSL. And this is the final one, the final season here, also leading into the offline finals. There is going to be an offline finals over in December, inviting the top players from all three seasons, from Season 1, Season 2, and of course from Season 3 as well. But before we get ahead of ourselves talking about that final, those end of year finals, we do have the America's Server Qualifier. Exclamation mark be in the chat, exclamation mark be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we will be dipping our toes into the bracket itself. And before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out to Milky Cow. God, baby God, thank you so much Milky Cow, for the raid. Hope you had a great stream, hope you had a great ladder session, hope you had a great time, and welcome. Bienvenidos. Thank you so much for the raid, as we are just now getting into our initial broadcast, as just now getting into our initial series. We were live earlier today, so I'm a little bit tired. A little bit tired, as we just wrapped up with the as we just wrapped up with the previous cast, with the Platinum StarCraft League tournaments. That was merely only a couple of hours ago. We have slept a total of like 4 to 5 hours. Let's go, baby, let's go. We are good to go. We have regenerated, and we're jumping into our first series. Very quickly though, again, this is a server qualifier, so despite it being in the Americas region, it's open to all. So we have Hero versus Medic in the first round, Reaper versus Rebellion, Nightmare versus a Triple. We have Personal versus Prone, Bunny versus Patches, Creator versus Havertz, Shameless versus Creator, and we have our series Mute and FoxeR. Let's go, let us go. So again, check out the bracket. The bracket is stacked, the bracket is live, and we are jumping into the first series. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Tokamak, we have the American Terran player, we have the yellow Terran. It is FoxeR. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the Peruvian Protoss for Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is now Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as we have a proper America's matchup. Let's go. Latino America versus North America is taking place here. Coming into this, I do lean towards Mute. Mute has been achieving a lot more accolades as of late, has been competing a lot in a lot of open cups, a lot of regional events as well. FoxeR a little bit less active and is still kind of rising through the ranks here. FoxeR, of course, was competing in the most recent event, in the most recent S2 Safe House. True, he was a part of the S2 Safe House. Unfortunately, during the event, we were the official B stream, but we didn't actually get a chance to cast FoxeR. We were focusing and fixating a little bit more so on Cham, on Estrella, on Juanito, on Trigger as well, and Eggs, El Huevito. We didn't really get to cast a lot of FoxeR, unfortunately. So hey, we're at least able to catch him here in this event. For now, economic start. Economic opener here. Single gas opener out of FoxeR, going for the faster CC on the low ground. So economic start, stay that opener out of Mute, as Mute is being as annoying as possible, tasing away at that SCV. Marine will zone away, and the probe will escape. Arriba Peru, papi. God, papi, God. So here we go. And we're waiting for a tech of choice. When it comes to Mute's style in this matchup, typically he's very gateway heavy. typically, at least a couple of months ago when we were covering him on a more regular basis. But typically a more gateway heavy composition is what we expect. We'll see if he has been adjusting though in the latest patch. We have seen a rise in popularity of robo-based play and Colossus-based follow-ups. Instead of being too heavily reliant on gateway units on Zealots to go to faster Colossi or a faster Storm. We'll see if FoxeR will be doing the same here. We are loading into Tokamak. This is one of the largest maps in the map pool, so typically you can get away with greed. Here on Tokamak. The map will be favoring you in that respect. But here we go. But now, take of choice, Twilight Council. Twilight Council here out of mute. Meanwhile, a big shout to K-Store TV. Oh my god, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God, thank you so much for subscribing for 5 months. 5 months, so 4 months in a row. Gracias, papi, gracias. Quack. Ah, see, man. Quack. Do appreciate the support, as always. Do appreciate it. As we have FoxeR getting to zone 111. From here, we have been going for reactor marine production. Did we make any Reapers? The answer is no. So 0 Reapers, 0 Hellions. As a result, FoxeR has 0 scouting information. This is a little bit greedy, as there's 0 scouting with Reapers, Hellions, or SCVs. But as you mentioned, this map is a lot larger. Ooh, forcing you with a friendly fire on the marine. Clutch moves there by mute. But the map is a little bit larger, so we're expecting greed here. He's not really too concerned with hyper aggression out of mute. As we are waiting for the medevac, and here comes our first drop across the map. Ooh, hallucination will spot. Hallucination will confirm. As FoxeR makes his way across the map. Blink is almost complete. Okay, there's a Colonel on Blink. FoxeR waddling in. Widowmine ideally does zone. And Stalkers are in position. Shield battery as well. So with the shield battery with the Stalkers, that mean it should be fine. It should be fine. Zones where the drop is 0 damage. Solid defense. Behind this, we're still rallying across the map, rallying out to tanks, rallying out Vikings. Oh, we are committing. Yeah, FoxeR is not backing down. Now, what's important with this move out is so far unscouted. We do have a 3rd hallucination being sent across the map. It does miss the main army, and Mute, he is out of position. His main army's over in the main, but he does have some units at least here at the natural. You can see FoxeR trying to bait him into tank range. Trying to bait him in. Oh. And the siege. Okay, on top of the gateway, the pylon is also exposed. Yeah, pylon's gonna go down. Depowers the robo, massive pickoff. He comes in from behind. Comes in, ooh, does not quite get the tank. Yeah, barely does get away here. The tanks do pull back. Get the siege up. Oh my god. Nice control. Nice control of Mute. He does avoid those tank shots. Does avoid the widow mines. But can he get on top of the tanks though? The boys are here to repair. Yeah, the boys are here. Robo goes down. Massive pickoff. Over Immortals. And with a 3rd tank, FoxeR, he's done it. With a 3rd tank, he has done it. He will kill the natural. We can see Mute catching reinforcements. Does get a Liberator. Does get a couple of Marines. But this main army cannot be dealt with. Not anymore. Charge will help, but it hits too late. Yeah, it's going to hit too little too late. And again, remember, this army, this push, wasn't scouted. The hallucination missed it. Hallucination did miss the move out. Mute didn't see it coming. Ideally, he would have been slowing this down. Ideally, he would have been engaging ahead of time, slowing down the push, forcing early sieges. That was not the case. Oh, as one tank gets picked off. One tank goes down. Charge is complete. Mute he intercept once around. Can intercept this round. Oh, is he on siege? Observer did spot. As Mute forcing his way in. Tanks take siege up on the high ground. And the Stalkers out again. They cannot move in. They can't do it. And here comes the next wave. The next wave of reinforcements. It's on the way. Behind this, we got Stim, we got +1. The all-in is succeeding here for FoxeR. He will lose both tanks. Both tanks finally go down, but again, Mute, he's stuck on one base. He's stuck on the one expansion, long distance mining, and here come the reinforcements. FoxeR once again committing. Oof, catching out 3 Stalkers. 3 more Stalkers go down. From here, he can back up, he can expand. Up! Jesus. Oh no! Yeah, FoxeR being a little bit too fancy with the medevac. Brutal losses towards the end. But he's fine. Like, he should be fine here. He's up in workers, he's up in economy. Again, Stim is now complete. And GG gets called. The writing is on the wall as FoxeR stumbles out of control, and FoxeR takes game number 1. Whew, GG, a very impressive play here by FoxeR. Once again, a lot of this came down to the fact that FoxeR's all-in was never seen. We saw that Mute, he was sending out hallucinations, and as a result, he saw the initial drop, and he had a really nice defense. I'm referring to the Widowmine Marine drop. Mute, he was able to shut it down very nicely, but we were speaking about that third hallucination, and the fact there was no observer across the map, there were no stalkers across the map either. We saw that third hallucination went across and did miss the army. He missed the army, he missed the move out. As a result, that's why Mute was actually staying in his bases, in his natural, in his main base. He wasn't able to slow down the army, slow down the all-in. He wasn't able to engage ahead of time. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we are now getting into game number 2. Getting into game 2, and we'll see if FoxeR can take it from here. We'll see if he can just clean up the series. Game 2 is going to be on Ultralove. Ultralove is a smaller map in the map pool. This is a map where all-ins are more expected. All-ins are more accessible here. And as a result, we do expect to see a safer build out of Mute. But we'll see. We'll see what our players do go for. So we are loading it. SCV's destroyed the pylon in the main. Oh, let's go. We're doing good. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultralove, we have the yellow Terran player, the yellow Terran himself, the American Terran leading the series 1-0. It is FoxeR. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the teal Protoss player, the premium Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. Go. Yo, este Mixu in the chat. Yeah, why don't I see Mixu in the bracket, man? Don't see him. Este Mixu. No, that's not what that's not. I know it's quite late. I know it's quite late in Europe. So shout out to those that are maybe in Europe that are tuning in, or maybe even competing in the tournament as well. Actually, it's insanely late. Isn't it like 5 a.m. or something? Like, hold on. Yeah, it's 5 a.m. in the morning. Oh my god. Mixu. get some sleep, Pappy. Get some. Ay. He just connected to me. I was like, hold on. Shout out to Shameless. Shameless going full degen. Shameless, is he the only European that signed up, that checked in? Yeah. Full degen is Shameless. Este Shameless. Ay. The one and only. Crazy. So is that Korean players allowed to play the qualifier? Yes. Just to once again reiterate, this is an American server qualifier. What that means, it is not region locked. There's no region locks on these qualifiers. The qualifier is more at a preferred time, and of course a preferred server. As I just mentioned, it's 5 a.m. in Europe, so as a result, in a qualifier like this, Europeans are deterred from competing, and it's similar with the other qualifiers as well. That the time of the qualifier is more catered towards the region of choice, so this is meant to be more of an NA like centric time zone qualifier, so it's a little bit more convenient for those in the Americas, I should say. More convenient, and of course their server is favored, so they have the server advantage as well. And it'll be the same with the European qualifier, it'll be the same with the Korean qualifier as well, or the Asian qualifier. All server qualifiers. As we do see, this time FoxeR is going double gas. Okay, so double gas open out of FoxeR, a more tech-heavy starts, going for a faster factory, faster starport as well. So much more aggressive here out of FoxeR, which makes sense as we load into Ultra Love. At the same time, Mute across the map, going for his own Twilight Council opener. Great time for Koreans, better time for Koreans than USEs even. Yeah, I guess, kind of. It's 11 a.m. in Korea. For those that wake up early, for those that don't go full degen, like Shameless, and Mixed too as well. Aye. For those that wake up when the sun is in the sky. Yes. So unfortunately, that does mean that players like Cure, players like Byun, a lot of the Korean Terrans, they are not awake at this time. that is known. Bunny is, yo, shout out to Bunny. True. Bunny, an actual human. Looks like a very similar build though. We are rallying the tank, rallying the Viking, hyper aggression out of FoxeR. He's rallying across the map. He's moving out. That's why it's called Shameless. Exactly. Shameless, man. Shameless. True. Hero online 24/7. Hero, he does ruin his heap schedule to play everything. It's true. But here we go. Here comes the early push. We got one of the boys here to repair. Mute, he was able to spot this ahead of time. Oh, he wants that tank. It does move in. Tank has yet to siege. Bunker is on the way. FoxeR forces his way up the ramp. Oh, that might take a lot of damage. Does barely survive. And you can see, thankfully, because Mute saw this coming ahead of time, he does force the siege early, and the army is quite far back. The pylon is safe. Ooh, nice time on the medevac. Medevac goes down. But the pylon is safe. The immortal is popping. We're getting extra warpins as well. And so far, this is a stronger defense for Mute. Stronger defense. He can soon go for the dive, and he will. He dives in. Go for the tanks. The tank barely goes down. And Mute breaks out. He breaks out, takes down the Vikings, the Cyclones, the tanks, the medevac earlier. We have a second tank sieging up. But again, it's so far back. And we just dive in. We just dive on top of the tank as well. And FoxeR, he will lose everything. GG gets called. The Oli gets shut down. And Mute, he will spot this. He will shut this down. And we are tied up 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. And again, I'm not too fond of the idea of going for a similar build 2 games in a row. I say similar, it was a different opener out of FoxeR, that is true. This did hit earlier than last game, but at the same time, Mute had the wherewithal to scout, to check, to confirm, to slow it down, to engage ahead of time. And as a result, was able to shut down said all-in, was able to force the earlier siege, get the earlier immortal production as well, and clean up the army. GG. GG, well played. We have a series. We have the ace match. We're getting into game 3, and we'll see how this story ends. Here we go. Este bromista. But game 3 is going to be on ley lines. Of course, we're going to be following the winner of the series into the next round, and we'll be catching up on that. Likewise, for this qualifier, we didn't really get to talk about it, but top two players do make it into the main event. They make it into RSL. That means that the finals will not be played. I mean, technically, they can try to force it just for seeding purposes, but most tournaments and most events do not force like those seeding matches to be played out. And yeah, to have confirmation, the finals will not be played. The qualifying matches are the semi-finals of the tournament. So exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look back yourselves. We're still in round 16. And we aren't the only English cast. It's ourselves alongside Bomyoja. Bomyoja also casting, and we are on opposite sides of the bracket. So ideally, we're able to avoid each other, and ideally, we're able to cover our own qualifying matches. Ideally. Likewise, it's going to be a really intense weekend. I think someone was mentioning earlier about, well, someone's asking about the European qualifier. We should be able to cast that. I say should be just because there's a lot of casting to do. So this morning we were live with the StarCraft Platinum League. That was, again, like 5 hours ago that we just wrapped up that cast. So we were covering that. We do have the Korean qualifier. That is later on this evening. That is in... Let's have a look. That's at 9 p.m. my time. That is in 7.5 hours from this message. So we're going to wrap up this cast. Then I might try to get some sleep and wake up in time for the Korean qualifier. Again, it's in 7 hours. Then tomorrow we have the Tuna Cup. And after the Tuna Cup, then we have the European qualifier. So it's less so about like the time of the European qualifier, more about like how much we're casting before that and how much time we have to rest. So it's gonna be on me to sleep as much as I can in between the casts, because we got a lot of casting to do. Get a really intense weekend. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. We're getting into game number 3. We're getting into the ace match, and as we mentioned before, it's going to be on ley lines. Let's go. I said 007. And spawning in the top right hand corner here of ley lines, we have the American Terran player. We have the yellow Terran being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back, and can he make it to the quarterfinals? It is FoxeR. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the teal Protoss player. We have the Peruvian Protoss representing Ping Pong Exports. It is Mute. Go. And so far, FoxeR has been hyper aggressive in this series. Game 1 went for a 2-base all-in. Game 2 also went for an all-in as well. Game 2 was an earlier push and earlier timing, as he did not waste any time with early Wouldn't Mind Marine drop or anything like that. But it's been hyper aggression nonetheless. And so far, we do expect that trend to continue here for FoxeR. We'll see if he does embrace another aggressive build. So eyes are on the yellow Terran. Prepare to get muted. Ah, true. Prepare to get foxed. Ah, no. Let's go. So now FoxeR is going for an economic start. He's going for a single gas this time into a faster CC. This is the same opener that he went for in game 1, and he is doing so again here in game number 3. It's time to get foxy. True. Oh god. FoxeR. As a CC on the low ground, Probe Scout does confirm the timing of the command center. So Mute, he's aware that this is an economic start. He knows that he is safe early on, and he can just settle into his own early game. As FoxeR does check his nearby 3rd and 4th base locations, he's checking for proxy gateways, making sure he's safe and sound. From here, we're settling in. We have Mute going for a Stalker into a Sentry Opener with his hallucinations. Will be sent across the map. We'll get some scouting information. We'll confirm what FoxeR's up to. Ooh, and we are being hyper greedy here. Okay, insanely fast 3rd CC. That's a 3rd CC before Starport. Jeez, okay. Okay. So we go from non-stop 2-base all-ins in game 1 and game 2 to the direct opposite of that and rushing into a very fast 3rd CC. So hyper greed out of FoxeR. Now what's scary here is that we should soon be seeing a hallucination. Right, there it is. Speaking of hallucinations scattered across the map, this should confirm what's going on. We do see FoxeR. He doesn't have he can't intercept. Yeah, there's nothing to intercept. So there's going to be no denial of the scout. And then Mute can react and respond with aggression. He has options. Either he can respond with aggression, throw down extra gateways, get a robo, get a warp prism, get across the map, or he can just be greedy himself and meet FoxeR in the mid game. As Hallucination gets eyes on the 1-1-1, Hallucination gets eyes on the third command center. So far, 2 more gates are on the way, so it's going to be 3-gate blink out of Mute. We'll see if he throws down a 4th gateway. I feel like going 4-gate blink here can be very strong and very powerful alongside of Robo to be hyper aggressive across the map. Robo's on the way. Hellies, they dive into the middle line, and 4 Hellies, that's enough to one-shot. Jesus, yeah, the probes, they do pull away. So far, going to be 3 probe kills. The Hellion shots aren't really lined up, but they get locked in. Okay. Nice control here out of Mute. Does try to lock them in, but it's still going to cost him 7 probes. Ay, 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 brutal damage. 7 probes go down, it gets into the main, more probe damage. Getting up to 8. 8 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. With that, I mean, really nice, really solid economic damage out of FoxeR. Robo is out, and are we counterattacking? Blink is almost done. Here comes a hallucination. FoxeR settling in, and we don't see a War Prism on the way. We're taking gases. It looks like Mute is not counterattacking. So FoxeR, he's getting away with this. He's getting away with his build. He's not being punished for being hyper greedy. I'm favoring FoxeR coming into the mid game as Mute just expands. And again, that's a delayed third base. He expands as he's taking up into Storm. Overall, a worse position here for Mute. So we do have all of our upgrades lining up. So Stim, Combat Shields +1. Going to be a strong timing here for FoxeR once he gets his third base up and running. And for the first time this series, we can embrace the mid game. But again, we're getting into the mid game with the Terran player having a boosted economy. Mute, he can still hold his own with Storms, depending on how they land, depending on how they connect. We'll see. Goes down. There's Muse that's taking him into charge. Has his own gateway explosion. And with this initial Stim timing, looks like FoxeR is not going for a main push, he's going for drop play. And again, he doesn't need to go for a main push, like he's been very greedy, very economic. Just setting up defensively back at home. And even opts not to drop. And FoxeR should be able to maintain that supply lead. Should be able to. And getting his third fully operational. Ghost Academy is on the way. Building up into Ghost production. That's going to be ideal against the earlier Storm build of Mute. We have been seeing Terran players struggle against more Colossus heavy starts just because they blindly have been going for Ghosts and being shut down by said Colossus. But FoxeR doesn't have anything to worry about here against Mute, in the sense that there's no Colossi. He gets spotted. FoxeR gets spotted. Storm is coming in. And again, FoxeR does not have to commit. Ooh, but he's going for a massive Doom drop. There's a spotter pylon. Pylon's in position. Drop gets spotted. Mute, he reacts. He's rallying over. Stalker's in position. Oh! He commits anyway! Yeah, he commits into the main. Does land only one tank. The other was left behind. And the high tempo, they're lagging behind here. Here come the storms though. Oh! And nice trades by FoxeR. Trades well initially, there's a first storm. We pick up, we get the hell out of there. Medivacs, they do barely survive. And again, overall, a decent trade here from Mute. It did lose the one tank, but now I can pull away. It's pulling back home. And you can see FoxeR with a massive supply lead here. And this is all because of the fast third. Remember, we spoke about it, but it was a very greedy build and he got away with it. He was not punished. So faster 2-base saturation, faster 3-base saturation, and that leads into a greater army. So this is going to be a difficult defense for Mute. FoxeR is moving in, this time with the EMPs. And we'll see how well they land. Mute spots the army. Spots the army, War Prism into the main, into the natural. 9 SCVs, not bad. 11 SCV kills. Shows EMPs. Doesn't connect yet, no EMPs. We'll lose 2 ghosts immediately. Miscontrol out of FoxeR. Does have the miscontrol, very nice EMP. There's one storm with the main army. There's a recall back home. I can imagine this with extra EMPs though. With those 2 extra ghosts. EMP lands, and there's still one storm. Yeah, storm lands. There's soon to be another, but there's nothing left. Yeah, there's nothing left. 0 storms remaining, and FoxeR, he does it. He stims on forward. He can stim, and he can win. We have 2 Colossus just now popping up, but we have plenty of Vikings. Vikings, they just go to town, limited anti-air, and the 3rd base has been broken. At the same time, we do have some counterattacks. Alas, bunkers are back at home, reinforcements are back at home. FoxeR, he does defend. And there's nothing here for Mute. We spoke about it, but Mute, he had the option, he had the opportunity to punish this. Mute, he scouted the 3rd CC early, but he was unable to apply any pressure. We were like, oh, he can be aggressive with 3 gateways, he can go for a 4-gate follow-up. His response was to expand. His response was to play from behind. And Mute, will lose his 4th, lose his 3rd. And now Mute is down to 2 bases. Meanwhile, a big shout to Games. Shout out to Gustavo, papi. Gracias. Bom dia, papi, bom dia. Obrigado. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great cast. Hope you had a great time. Likewise, a big shout out to Just Me Executor as well for subscribing with Twitch Prime for 7 months. Thank you, papi, thank you. Do appreciate it. As FoxeR, he should be able to max out, and Mute doesn't really have much to stop him. He's going for the backstab, going for the warp in across the map. FoxeR, he does miss the prism. Just barely misses. Down goes the expansion. We have 3 high tempo with the main army. Jesus, as he gets the entire mineral line. 18 probes go down. Storms, they graze the army. Yeah, but no major connections. With that, he can just collapse in. Rushes through the storms, takes down the Colossus. And that was the final army for Mute, as he will lose everything. The Colossi, the storm. GG gets called, and FoxeR will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to FoxeR for claiming the series. I was a little bit concerned after game 2. Game 2 gave me the indication that FoxeR, he might be a little bit more one note, just because we saw hyper aggression 2 games in a row. Happy to see FoxeR mixing things up in the 3rd game, and Mute scattered, but Mute was unable to punish, unable to react, unable to respond. He did go for a more, as we mentioned, he expanded. He went for the expansion, went for a later 3rd base, tried to play economic, tried to play standard from behind, and again, he just fell a little bit too far behind in regards to the supply, in regards to the economy. FoxeR had a very, very comfortable start. GG. GG, well played. FoxeR just claimed the series. And with that, let's catch up on the rest of the bracket. Oh boy. Let's go exclamation mark and be in the chat to have a look back yourselves.